Hello, I'm so excited to be here today. I don't do these very often, but I have my very, very good friend from junior high, I guess. One of my very best friends of my entire life, Christine Lunsford. And she has just published her book. It's out today, and it's called Wrong Answer: Empowering You to Your Own Wellness Advocate. Empowering you to be your own wellness advocate. And I'm really so honored to highlight her here today on my social media platforms and her own. So welcome, Christine, and thank you.
Ew. Oh my God. It's so good to see your face. We live way too far apart.
Yeah. One in South Carolina and one in
Arkansas.
Arkansas. Too far,
Too far.
too far. So, you wrote this book and I don't know if I want to say honored, but I have been a witness to your journey all of these years. So I'm sort of honored to have this conversation with you because nobody else can have this specific conversation with you. And I know it's been a struggle to watch. I know it was a struggle for you to experience. So why now? Why now is it time for you to write this book and get the message out?
Now is the time because 2016, it really hit me hard. And for all those years between then and now, it has been an uphill battle. And I never told too many people. Like, you knew my story, you knew what I was going through, you knew the struggles, but I didn't tell people. And I started, well, for one, it was kind of obvious. I mean, I couldn't hide it anymore. So I started having conversations, and I found there were so many women. I was in shock. I thought it was just me that were
Yeah,
hearing the same things. Oh, you're just getting older. Oh, you're in normal range. Oh, there's nothing we can do. Oh, we'll monitor it. Which, by the way, ladies, is another way of saying we're going to wait until you're broken and then we're going to give you a pill.
right. Yeah.
That is exactly what that means. And I was called to start writing it. I wrote about a page and a half, and then I quit. And then I got into a Lighthouse Academy, which is a Kingdom Leadership Academy. And I had a group of people that were also struggling. And I was like, okay, I'm not alone. There were different struggles, but still, I wrote the book in 2 months. And then I started interviewing publishers, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a fish out of water. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I don't know how to make this happen. And in my normal, uh, I guess, my normal struggles, I just set it down again. And I'm like, this is really crazy. I just wrote a book. It
Yeah.
can't sit in my computer. So now was the time. And another friend of mine reached out, and she's also a best-selling author. And she's like, hey, you need to talk to Tina. And I went, okay, if you're sure. And we clicked. It was supposed to be a 15-minute call. We talked for almost 2 hours. And she was super excited, which got me super excited. And this is the result.
There's the result.
This is the result. And I really think now is a big time because I am hearing more and more people are shifting. They're shifting away from the conventional. They're shifting away from accepting vague answers. And hence the reason it's called wrong answer. Because I started literally telling my doctors, that's the wrong answer. I don't accept it.
Right.
You're not going to tell me there's nothing I can do.
Yeah, and I really like, not that they did that, but I like the fact that you really did take become your own advocate, because that's all we can do as human beings, regardless of whether you're a male or a female. But it seems like females are often dismissed. Um, well, and so are males. But
Well, and okay, so the difference that I have discovered
yeah.
talking to men and women is a lot of times when men are told there's nothing you can do, they're like, okay, fine, I'm just going to tough it out.
Hmm.
They don't necessarily look for the answer. They just tough it out, and women do too. So don't hear what I'm not saying, ladies. Ladies do push through it, and a lot of times they hide what is going on. And it's time for us to not hide. It's time for us to stand up and say, no, this is the wrong answer. We get to feel good.
Yeah.
I challenge every woman, I don't care what your age is, look around and find somebody who's 10 to 15, maybe 20 years older than you that is rocking it out. That's doing the things that you wish you were doing. Because I'm telling you, they're out there.
Yeah.
When you see a 90-year-old woman, you know, deadlifting 200 pounds, I don't know if that's how much she was lifting, but she was deadlifting, and I was like, whoa, all righty then. Okay,
Yeah.
my excuses just ran out the window.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So I know I've read the book. I got
Yes, you have.
started in,
You are one of, well, I think you are the only one who has read the entire book.
yeah.
Yes.
So it's really interesting how it really just chronicles from day one, really, how, how the struggles went through the wellness struggles, how you identified some of these wellness struggles, and just from my perspective as well, knowing the bigger picture of things too, is it's an interesting to me how some of the physical sy- highlight for people is a lot of times, because my work is more energy type work, it's wellness, stress relief, coaching, getting that physical release out so that you can really move towards wellness and balance. And so, from my perspective, just knowing the whole picture, it was really interesting as you went through the different stages of your life. And I'm just wondering if when you were writing this book, did you sort of notice that yourself?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
and I know when you read it too, you were pointing out, you're like, what about this? And I went, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about the mental stress and the emotional stress that's now showing up as physical ailments or physical symptoms.
Right.
And during the course of all this time, as you know, I also had the struggle of dealing with my dad's death.
Right.
And my dad was a huge emotional and um,
Stressor.
stressor. My brain just quit because he was never physically abusive. That's not what I'm saying. But
No, it's a
mentally and
stressor.
emotionally, he was a big stressor in my life. And then here I am at the end of his life and going, oh, I see too many similarities here. This is not cool. And figuring it out.
Yeah. So there was some, uh, dare I say ancestral stuff, but it's kind of like dad had
Actually,
some problems and issues, you've got
yes,
some issues. So it's kind of
yes.
like mirroring.
And it's interesting you say that because we did do the DNA test. Now, I did not get a chance to get my dad's DNA test. So sad that didn't happen. However, my sister Autumn, you know Autumn, and I have both done the psychological, it's neurological psych DNA test. We can lay our reports next to each other, and we have so many things that are similar. So
Wow.
many of the genes that are also broken, so many of the genes that are partially broken, and so many, I mean, like you look at our supplements and you're like, wow, you guys take the same things. So there is truth to genes and hereditary and things. And okay, so I'm going to buck the system. Saying it's hereditary is a freaking excuse to not
Mhm.
do something.
Correct. Yeah.
It infuriates me. I'm like, don't. Oh my gosh, I have high blood pressure and there's nothing I can do about it because it's hereditary. Is it hereditary because it's a physical ailment, or is it hereditary because you have the same habits?
Right.
And I was like,
Man,
if
sister,
if I had the same habits as my dad, now he
you'd
didn't
be a
know
worse mess.
absolutely, but he didn't know what he didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, when he started journey with his tremors, gluten intolerance wasn't a thing.
Right.
I mean, nobody knew that. They didn't know that food could do that. You know, unfiltered Pall Malls and drinking Coke and eating biscuits and gravy every day. Gee, I wonder why he had issues. I
Is there
mean,
a problem with that?
oh my gosh, even as a kid, I'm like, are you sure you should be smoking unfiltered cigarettes? Okay, you shouldn't be smoking at all, but really?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So there is that aspect of it.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So in your book, you sort of highlight some of that as well, and then you really highlight, your journey, how you started, and some of the reasons why you went further than you did because of some of the reactions you had to treatment, if you will,
Right.
that were not expected.
Mhm.
So I'm somebody who really um, advocates for people to self-advocate for themselves as well because nobody else can do it. And
No.
I've been in situations not necessarily like you, but like when my mother was transitioning and my aunt was transitioning, you have to really stand up for these people without just accepting whatever answer you get, like, oh well, this is what's going to happen. You really have to push and keep going, and stand out in the middle of the hall and ask if anybody works there because you're not getting the answers that you need. So outlining some things that you did in the book, I think, is really, really paramount
Mhm.
to teaching other people how to navigate the system. So how do we get this? I think we've got the link in the post here. So go ahead and get your book today. Today is the launch, so it would be very helpful. Go out and get it. It's
Yes.
only like $14.99.
I think 14.95,
Yeah,
14.99,
fourteen
less than
ninety
15
nine.
bucks. I'll put it that way.
Say that one more time.
It's less than $15.
Less than $15. So go out and
Okay,
get
so
your copy today.
because it's you, I gotta share something that I thought was interesting.
Okay.
So in the book, as you know, Angela, my sister, is chapter 1.
Mm-hmm.
There's Angela.
Uh-huh.
My copy of my book arrived at Autumn's house on what would have been Angela's 50th birthday.
Wow.
And if I had been at Autumn's house that day, it would have been the day that I opened it. But it hit me like 2 days later, and I was like, oh
Wow.
my goodness.
I got goosebumps.
I got tears. And if you read the book, you'll understand. My sister died when she was 5 months old, and I think she was kind of the catalyst for really this whole life journey, because even at a very young age, even though I wasn't consciously aware of it, I had a heightened awareness of the importance of life
Yes,
and living life.
yes.
I think I probably was the saving grace for both of my parents.
Yes, I believe that to be true.
Yeah. So I thought that was just an interesting note that it
That
showed
is
up
very
on her
interesting.
birthday. And it showed
Yeah.
up a day early.
50th, a good one too.
A 50th. And it was a day early. It wasn't supposed to be there till Sunday, and it showed up on Saturday. I was like, okay, God's hand is on. God's
Meant
hand
to
is on
be.
this book. This
Yes.
link was not supposed to go live until tomorrow.
Oh, amen.
Amazon said 3 days. It went live this morning.
Excellent.
So I'm telling you,
Excellent.
God's
So
hand is on the
get
whole.
your book now.
Yes.
All right, Christine, I'm looking forward to hearing how it goes.
Oh, thank you. I love you, Kathy, so much.
Too.